Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what's happening here. Sorry I lost you guys. Interesting. So it looks like that stream stopped. It's nothing that happened here. That's all I can tell you. It's nothing that happened here. Let me see if this thing's catching up at all here. Yeah, it's catching up. I don't know where I lost you folks. 29 minutes in. Let's see if the chat can give me some information. What was the last thing you heard me talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, really? Live streams got cut off last night too, huh? So this is ongoing. You know, the censorship is getting worse and worse all the time, and the interference is getting worse and worse all the. No, the Russians didn't do it. Okay, I'll try to watch this. Yeah, I agree. I need some moderators. Yeah, some people that can help me out here. But this was partly my fault. I wasn't watching the upload. I was watching my OBS, so that was kind of my fault, and I apologize. My motto is the intel community is our most dangerous domestic enemy, and it's been that way for decades. But I've been really pushing that since 2011. Okay, around 30 minutes. Okay, and I'm very sorry that happened. I will try to watch a little bit closer here right now. Okay, so and I will. It's also telling me that my resolution is bad, but that's unfortunately that's because of my internet connection. But the internet connection won't let me run the higher resolution, which I would like to do. It's just the way it is, and that's unfortunate. But that's not what caused this cutoff. Okay, just so you know, that's not what it was. It happened at YouTube apparently, or somewhere between YouTube and here, not the connection itself. So anyway, yes, I was saying that the problem is. Let's make sure that I got this right, folks. Let me just see here if you're still here with me. Um, Okay, yeah, Democrats are our biggest domestic enemy. Well, remember, so the CIA said that they were going to run their operatives on the Democratic ticket. So, and not that they haven't before; they're in both parties, but they said they were going to take over the Democratic Party, and that's what they're doing. Okay, so everything's looking good now. Apparently, like I say, I do apologize for the video resolution being low, as YouTube warned me here just now. Which has probably been there before, but I already know about that. It's just due to the fact that I can't overload the internet connection. It just doesn't have enough bandwidth out in these remote areas. So at any rate, yeah. Okay, well, I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to anyway, just in case this cuts out again. I'll just say again that I've been vindicated that the intelligence community is and has been for a very long time our most dangerous domestic enemy. In fact, the world's most dangerous enemy. Okay, I also wanted to bring up, let me just bring up a couple of other things. Let's not forget, people. I saw Phil Mudd. I think it was on CNN. Remember, he's the former CIA assistant director or something like that, who called for Trump's assassination. So there's Philip Mudd that's still out there, who's a real problem, and Evan McMullin. Evan McMullin is a guy from Utah, an LDS dude, CIA, who ran against Trump in Utah on the presidential ticket. These people are bad, and they're still out there. They're still out there. There are a lot of them. These two are particularly evil, Phil Mudd and Evan McMullin, just so that you guys are aware of that, okay? All right. Still out there. And I've talked about Rove, and I've talked about Adam Schiff. Okay. Again, I apologize for that thing going down like that. Whoa, that was just crazy. Okay. Okay, a lot of the chat, of course, has been interrupted too. So let me just start here and see what it says. Disband the SES. Yeah, that needs to happen. Who said that, by the way? I'll try to bring you guys up. JDR1 760 Superstar. Disband the SES. I agree. Oh, you like the hair? Yeah, I think I told you I had on St. Patrick's Day. I had a friend of mine. She said, "Hey, let's make you look a little younger." So she did a little thing there. I don't think it's going to stick around very long, but we'll see. Okay, no moderators. I was put on slow mo. That is Google doing it. Okay, and I think you're right. Just had a school shooting in North Carolina. It's like I said, there are going to be a lot of these things happening. A lot of these things happening because they need to get people to say, "Oh, government, please protect us." Don't let the people protect themselves. Remember, up on the top here, what does it say? Colonel Jeff Cooper, the criminal must be made to fear his victim. The criminal must be taught to fear his victim. That's how it's got to work. No government's going to be able to do it for you. No police department, nobody. And these people that say otherwise are just trying to take control over your lives, or they're smoking something that they think that the world is now some type of a utopia, and it is not. And they're not going to make it any better. So Herb Tender said, we just had a school shooting in North Carolina. It doesn't surprise me. You're going to see a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot more of it. They've got to make the point that we can't defend ourselves. That's what they're trying to do. Joe, Roy, is there an easy fix? Or will it take a well-thought-out plan to defeat the deep state? We can't do it, unfortunately. That's why Trump is so important. We need somebody in that position who's willing to take a stand. But I still don't hear, to this day, I don't see him making the connection between the MSM, the fake news, and the intelligence community, particularly the CIA. He just will not make that connection. And until he's willing to say that, I don't see us being able to turn this around, because what that means is that he probably doesn't have the intestinal fortitude. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm from Missouri these days. I'll believe it when I see it. The intestinal fortitude to really call it what it is. The only thing that these people will understand is force. That they have to be forced to abide by the constitutional republic, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And if they are not forced to do that, we will not turn this around. And Trump himself has some problems with that. The bump stock ban, the red flag laws, some of these other things. And I could name a bunch of other stuff, but I don't want to take time on it, because I'm really happy that he's beaten this thing with Mueller. A lot of people say, oh, that was the plan all along. Mueller was working for him. No, he was not. As a matter of fact, there's evidence to suggest now that Mueller actually finished months ago prior to the 2018 election, but didn't want to put it out because the Democrats needed to have the help. So I reject all those things, all those, the folks out there with these Twitterites, that have these thread of tears, that have these constant long things explaining all this stuff that's going on behind the scenes. No, that's not true. Mueller is a bad guy. He always has been. He didn't do this to help Trump. It's just that Trump didn't do anything wrong. That's all it is. He didn't collude with the Russians, which isn't a crime anyway. So, calling your senators, yeah, certainly you need to call your senators, fly fishing, be politically active in that way, but I don't think their ears are on. I don't have much success with mine because it's a club up there in D.C. The club needs to be dismantled, and in order to do that, somebody with some real guts has to stand up and do something about it, and it's going to be dangerous. They shot Kennedy for it. So, we'll see. Trump's done a good job on exposing them, showing what they are, but that's not going to fix it. That's just kind of like the first step. Tinfoil hat, I should get a mohawk. Matthew Hill, the IC doesn't like being called out, Roy. I've been doing it for years. You wouldn't believe the trouble they've given me. And I don't want to go through all that. They're really bad people. They really honestly are. Yeah, they don't like being called out. They don't like being shown what their shortcomings are and their illegal acts, because they're supposed to be gods on earth, above the law. Yeah, the IC, sure enough, IC needs to be dismantled, at least as it's currently operating. Yes, I agree. Okay, Herb Tender says, oh, so this is in North Carolina, I suppose. Alexander County school shooting is a Democratic county. Does that surprise you? It doesn't me, because they can control the narrative there. They can control everything. Where they look at Parkland. I mean, geez, that's Debbie Wasserman Schultz area, right? These things happen there because they can control it, but then they'll say that we're at fault because of their policies and what they do. Yeah, that's all. That's all what they do. Now that's a good question here. Oh yeah, tinfoil hat. Love Rand Paul broadsiding Brennan. Brennan is a coward traitor. How long have I been calling him out? Brennan, Clapper, right? All of those people, but particularly Brennan and Clapper. And yes, Brennan's trying to say, oh, well, can you believe a CIA director who now comes out and says, well, gee, I guess I was getting the wrong information. He was in charge of the CIA? Are you kidding me? That's the kind of guy we have in the CIA. Oh, I guess I had the wrong information. He needs to be arrested, tried, and if found guilty, hung in the mall in D.C., preferably even not there, but over in front of the White House. The White House, isn't right on the mall. I guess you know that. Phil McCracken, do your friends understand what's really happening, Roy? I lost a lot of friends. There's a story behind why I went onto YouTube, and I won't get into a big dissertation about that. But I was kind of asked to do it, and they said that they would stand behind me. And then when the heat came down, they ran like, I'll just be honest, ran with like dogs with their tails between their legs. And I hate to say it, there were a couple that didn't, but most of them did. And I don't want to go into the details about how that all came about. But even if they do know, a lot of them won't speak out. And the ones that don't like what I say, they really haven't looked for lots of reasons. And it is very disappointing. And that's why I say I look at the country and I don't have a whole lot of faith in this. These are people that are intelligent, that know, that work with these bureaucrats, and they know how bad they are. And yet they still can't see it to the depths of the evil that it really is. That's why I say I don't have a whole lot of faith that this is going to turn around. We're on our own. Trump, I really hope Trump and Barr can clean this thing out. But if it really gets to the point where it's become a danger to the controllers in the deep state, including Obama and Clinton and Soros, there's going to be a shooting war. Not that we're going to start it. I'm just saying there's going to be a shooting war between these powers. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, I'm not sure how you say this. Friday, a movie is being released as a must-see, a true story about abortion clinics. I'll have to look for that. Thank you. Yeah, leave our kids alone. You notice, I just saw another story. I think it happened in Arizona where some parents didn't want to take a young child. The child had a 100-degree temperature, which isn't really a big deal. Not any kid. Anyway, they called the doctor, and then the doctor said go to the hospital. They didn't take the kid to the hospital because the fever broke, and then they sent in the SWAT team. Even in Arizona. SWAT teams. SWAT teams are disgusting. I mean, in my day, we never used them unless there was a real call for it, and it certainly wasn't against parents who didn't take their kids to the doctor. How do you force them, Sidell Stapler? Well, we don't do it. Don't think we're going to go out there. We need to have a leader like Trump say, Article 2, Section 2, we're at war. We have to clean our government out. We have to take these people out or they're going to take us out. Frankly. This is going to balkanize the United States. And I've said this is coming. This was the plan back in the 1800s. I've talked about it before. The race wars, all of that. Balkanize the country. It's going to be split up. The central government's going to lose all power eventually. But that's not necessarily a good thing. You'd think it might be, but it won't be because you're going to have these leftist Marxists that are going to be living across the street from you. It's going to be Yugoslavia all over again. Okay, you've got a good point here. Whoa, it looks like I goofed that. Oh, somebody was saying you called their bluff. Where was that? Oh, gee. This thing jumped. I'm so sorry. Somebody was saying you call their bluff. I agree that. You don't back down. The Republicans are famous for, we don't want to get the Dems upset, we'll back down. No, you call their bluff and you move forward. So whoever brought that up, that's right. You call their bluff. You go after them. Just like Dan Bongino said, we're going to go after him. That we're done. We're going after him. Schiff's an asshole. He's a bastard. He's a criminal. He's a traitor. And everything he says is a lie. That's how we go after him. We don't take their BS anymore. I don't know this about Greenland. I'm going to have to check and see what you're talking about. I'm not certain I know what that is. Let me write that down because I've seen you mention it a couple of times. I'll see if I can find out what that is. Okay, we still transmitting here? I guess we are because you're on the chat. Okay. Fred Darby, Jesus, kids could be killed right now and they're calling it fake. I'm not calling it fake. I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know is what we've heard here. What I'm saying is that these things are going to happen more and more. Okay? They're going to happen more and more. Real and fake. Real and, like at Vegas, a compilation of a drill type thing. And a stage production and the real thing. So I don't know what's happening in North Carolina. I don't know right now. All I'm saying is that those things are going to happen more and more because they want to get us convinced that we need to go along with doing away with our Second Amendment and our First Amendment. Okay. Hal, they're not going to be locked up, all talk. Well, you know how I feel about it. I feel encouraged, like I said earlier. But I'm from Missouri. I'll believe it when I see it. So I'm like you. When I see the first person caller, I wasn't going to keep doing this until somebody did get arrested. But I decided to continue on a little bit because some positive things are happening. So we'll see. There's no excuse now for Trump not going after these people. And if Barr is as good as he apparently seems to be, DeGeneva sure thinks so. Charge forward. Let's see them do it. Yeah, I know Brennan's a Muslim. And he's a communist too, an avowed communist. Okay. I know about Serial Brain too. No, I'm not going to check him out. All those people I have nothing to do with. I already understand where they're coming from. I know who they work for. I have no interest in them. I'm not going to check them out. Sorry. I'm not going to waste my time. I already know what we've got there. And I've talked about it for quite a while. States' rights were each state on own. Yeah. And that's the way it was supposed to be. With the central government guaranteeing a Republican form of government and the Bill of Rights and defending us. Yeah, those types of things. No, I agree. But I think we've lost that. I don't even think Trump can get that back. Not at this point. I hope I'm wrong. But, yeah, Trump has to say no to the extortion. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Vicky Davis. Oh, hi, Vicky. Yeah, absolutely has to say no to the extortion. Thank you for being here. Vicky Davis, by the way, if it's the one I think it is, she's an extremely wonderful, thorough, investigative. She says she's a systems analyst, but she's one of the best reporters I've ever seen. Real investigative journalists. Yeah, David Ream, I agree. Roy, don't have faith in government and God. I understand that. But even though we have faith in God, we're supposed to operate in the world as we find it. Not be a part of the world, but try to operate in it and try to make it better. So, you know, it's like Saul. And that's why I brought up the story about Saul in the past few videos. King Saul and King David. And the fact that Saul was a good man who turned bad, right? And Samuel came and warned him, you know. So, yeah, you trust God, but you try to deal with things to make them better. Jesus himself found himself in a world that he had to work in. Okay? So we can't just turn our back on it. A lot of people think that that's the way to do it. No, it isn't. I don't believe that. If that were so, Jesus wouldn't have been crucified. Sorry, just wouldn't be. Yeah, they don't give a crap about the Constitution. That's true. Sure enough. Connie Miller, expositor. Barr had authority to. I'm not sure what you're saying there. It got cut off. Yeah, Barr has a lot of bad stuff in his background. Kedrick Pittman is making the point here. Vincent Foster, the Ruby Ridge thing, the Patriot Act. He's for mass surveillance. He doesn't like the Fourth Amendment. He thinks it hinders government. There are a lot of problems with Barr. Maybe he saw that he was going down the wrong road. Maybe. That's why I'm watching what's happening right now. Okay. This thing with Mueller was good. I guess he got in there and he found out Mueller's investigation was actually up before the election, and he just said, "You got to get that report out now. Give it to me." And then he kept Rosenstein on because Rosenstein, is kind of like, if you don't do this, Barr saying to him, "If you don't do this, we'll just take you out right now. This is how you get out of jail. You help me fix this." I'm hoping. And he's on Huber's case, as I mentioned earlier. I think he's called for a product from Huber, who has not done his job. Okay. Let's see here. Why am I writing in all caps, Voos? Probably so I'll see you. I guess. All caps means I'm saying something important. Okay, well, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Oh, Roosevelt, you're here. Oh, wow, thanks, Roosevelt. Did you see the latest? Q is now gunning for many close to the Trump campaign. Yeah, I did, Roosevelt. I'm sorry I haven't answered you. Yes, I'm aware of that. I mentioned it earlier in the video. I may have been cut off when I was talking about this whole thing between MAGA Coalition, Your Voice America, Q, particularly Praying Medic, etc. I did talk about that, and I'm aware of it. And it's disgusting. I brought up the fact that Gorka calling Q garbage wasn't calling General Flynn garbage, but somebody tried to make that connection. It shows you how disconnected the Q cult's members are. But thanks, Roosevelt. Yes, I did. Thank you very, very much. Everybody, if you have Twitter and if you have YouTube, you need to go to Roosevelt Media News and look at his videos. They're all very, very good, and he's a moderator for me. We've never met, but we do quite a bit of communication on Twitter. So thanks, Roosevelt. I appreciate that. By the way, Roosevelt, if you didn't know, I started transmitting this morning, and then it just cut off. And then somebody told me that that's been happening to a lot of people live streaming. It wasn't my internet connection this time, for sure. For sure it wasn't that. Okay. Vu says again, why am I writing it all caps? And Roosevelt comes back and says, that dang cap lock. Maybe you guys know each other. I don't know. Yeah, swivel hips, in the world, not of the world. But that doesn't mean we don't take part of it. Yeah, in other words, you have to act in the environment that you find yourself in. You still need to act. You still need to choose right from wrong. You can't be laying back and saying, I'm just accepting God's grace, because it's kind of hard to explain, but But God says, and it kind of goes this: you're either hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spew thee out of my mouth. Right. So you want to be for God, but you don't want to be inactive. Okay, you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going down through here, and we'll stop here in a second because you guys are talking with each other, and that's great. I like to see that. Oh, yeah, Jeannie Garner. I read it last night. Right, you're neither hot nor cold. I read it last night. Yeah, good. Okay, look. I apologize for the stream going down. What can I say? Let's hope that Barr is on Huber's case. I've heard through the grapevine that he's asking for product. And most of you, that's what they call it in the legal thing. I want to see your product. Okay? So apparently something's happening there. Huber wasn't doing anything, but Barr is pressing him for it. Barr is moving forward, I think. As we know, Jim Jordan, Congressman Jordan, said that he has made criminal referrals to the DOJ. But as AIM has said, as Dan Bongino has said, as Headlines with a Voice has said, as I have said, and many others, Barr has all the information he needs. All he has to do is ask all of those people that I just mentioned for their investigative information, but he already has it. The point is that we have done more than the professional law enforcers in this country have done to try to bring forth justice. And it's shameful. It's absolutely shameful. But good on people like some of these I'm going to mention together, not going to like Lee Stranahan, Dan Bongino. You know they're at odds right now to some extent. AIM, Headlines with a Voice, a whole bunch of people. I can't even think of them all right now. So there's no excuse for Barr not to go forward. And I will mention it again. Trump has Article 2, Section 2, and we're here. Don't act on your own. If he can't fix it with the system that he has in place, he's going to have to invoke Article 2, Section 2, and bring a lot of us on board to do something about it. Okay, I'll leave it there for today. Thanks for coming. Again, I feel really, really good that basically everything that I've been saying, my whole FBI corruption series, all the things that I've been saying publicly for 2 decades or more, 3 actually, but especially since I opened my YouTube channel, I'm now vindicated in that. And my Republican insider said, Roy, you need to take a victory dance. You need to get out there and tell everybody that you were right. But I'm not happy that I'm right, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm extremely disappointed because I know what this country could have been, and it exchanged its birthright for a pot of porridge. It was tricked, but it's discouraging, and I don't know that we can get it back. Like I said, we're pretty well balkanized now. I don't see it. I don't see it getting fixed. Just protect yourselves. They're going to still come after you. Look, if this North Carolina shooting in the school, they're not going to stop, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to stop. Buy that AR-15. Remember, you got to make a political statement if nothing else, but it is a good defensive weapon. Don't do anything on your own. Don't think you're going to go fix the government. No, you don't go out there. You wait for President Trump or competent authority to do that. But make the political statement. Buy that AR-15 today if you haven't done it. As Jeff Cooper said, and I said it at the beginning of this broadcast, the criminal must be taught to fear his victim. There is no other fix for violence. No matter what the politicians tell you, because they want to take your weapons away, they want to make you subservient, they want to make you helpless, because that's how they control you. That's feudalism. That's not freedom. And they'll use every every sophisticated argument they can, every sophistry to try to trick us into giving up our Second Amendment and our First, like I said. Lieutenant Colonel, USMC, retired Jeff Cooper, who died in 2006. He's a hero of mine. He's there on the plate. He says, the criminal, the only answer to felonious violence, be it from a criminal on the street or a criminal in government, is for you to be able to take up arms and defend yourself. For the criminal must be taught to fear his victim. Thomas Jefferson said it in another way, of course. And he said, those who fear when the government fears the people, I guess it was Jefferson, I'm not sure. Those who fear the government, or if the people fear the government, you have tyranny. If the government fears the people, you have freedom. So thank you, everybody, for coming. God bless you. God bless yours. God bless the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America and the Second American Revolution. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground. This is a really critical time. A lot of crazy things are going on. Okay? I don't know what the next day is going to bring. We're seeing some hopeful things, but it could go south easy. So you need to pay attention. You know, it's kind of like being at a hockey game. You don't take your eyes off the hockey putt, right? You keep your eyes on that hockey putt. Or at a baseball game, even if you're in the stands, you keep your eyes in a hockey game on that hockey putt and on a baseball game on that ball, because you never know where it's going to go. Okay, so keep yourselves awake and aware. Prep, pray, stay out of the way. And again, I want to thank you for coming. And I'm sorry that the stream cut out. As some people have said, that's probably happening across the board on a lot of these things. At least that's the way it's looking. Okay. All right. God bless Donald Trump and all of his righteous endeavors. And may the Spirit of the Lord descend upon him and give him the spirit of discernment, that he will know the right from the wrong and have the courage to do the right thing. All righty. Okay. Thanks for coming on the chat today. The moderators that were there, I saw Roosevelt, like I said. Thanks, Roosevelt, for being there. Somebody mentioned something going on in Greenland. I'll try to find out what that is. And let's keep an eye on this North Carolina thing. Again, this is just the beginning of these things. They're going to increase in frequency and in intensity. When everything else they do doesn't work, the people that are trying to take us down, they make it so that you can't depend on the government to protect you, which is a fallacy anyway, because the government can't protect you, right? So it's really a ridiculous situation to be in, but it's a way to try to discredit the government's ability. Okay, the government's not responsible for your defense. You are. All right. And that's the problem with these shootings in North Carolina. As somebody said, it's in a Dem territory, obviously in a gun-free zone. Yeah, all by design. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. Take care.